Hello everyone, hi, how are you? Hope you're well. Hope you've had a wonderful week. Happy Saturday. Hope you've as I said in my video last week, hope you've taken some time out to chill. It's been a lot in the last couple of weeks and months. So I hope we've been able to take some time to just calm down, recharge and recalibrate as we begin to think of the things we're going to take into the next quarter of the year. I can't believe it's August already. I was talking to my daughter during the week and she was like, "Mommy, my birthday is next month," because she's September, and it only just feels like she turned 10 last year, and it really feels like she turned 10 like 2 weeks ago, and I can't believe we're almost in September again. Anyway, enough of my babbling. I just thought I'd throw that out there before I go into the book of today. So our book of today is a book I read sometime in February this year, Mindless Eating: Why We Eat More Than We Think, by Professor Brian Wasink. I don't even know if he's a professor, but he's got a PhD. And the reason why I chose that book is during the course of the week, I tried putting on a pair of jeans and yeah, they were a bit tight. And I exercise 5 days a week. I eat relatively healthy, and I don't eat a lot of junk, but I know that I put on weight. And the reason that I want to discuss this book today and read some excerpts from this book is, yes, I know that a lot of us underestimate how much we are eating. So as per usual, I'm going to read some excerpts from the book and we'll talk about how I am going to apply that and actionable steps you can also take from it as well. So I'm going to be reading from chapter 2 and it's aptly called The Forgotten Food. So I'll just quickly read it and then I'll talk about what action steps I'm taking from it, why I went back to the book as well. So chapter 2, The Forgotten Food. Your stomach can't count. It can't count the number of spoonfuls of golden grahams you had for breakfast. It can't count the number of ounces in the overpriced frappuccino you drank on the way to work. It can't count the number of French fries you inhaled in the first 90 seconds of your lunch. It can't count the number of calories in the aptly named Chubby Hobby ice cream you ate standing in front of the refrigerator when you got home. Our stomachs are bad at math, and what's more, we get no help from our attention or our memory. We don't register how many pieces of candy we add from the communal candy dish at work, and whether we ate 20 French fries or 30. It gets even worse when we are out dining with our friends and our family. 5 minutes after dinner, 31% of the people living in an Italian restaurant couldn't even remember how much bread they ate, and 12% of the bread eaters denied having eaten any bread at all. Considering our imperfect food memory, it seems that the last person we should rely on to stop eating is ourselves. It's not necessarily that we're trying to fool ourselves or that we're living in blissful snug clothing denial. We're just not designed to accurately keep track of how much we've consumed. If we could see what we've eaten, we would probably eat less. For instance, if we could see all of the Chinese food we shoveled onto our buffet plates, or if we could see all of the handfuls of potato chips we've already inhaled before reaching for another, we would probably stop eating before the point where our stomach hurts. Unfortunately, most foods don't leave table traits. That is after we eat them. All evidence is gone. All that remains is an empty plate. I'll also read another part of the book as well we read this as part of my book club, and this was one part that I also read as well. And there's an excerpt here that says, why French women don't get fat. Why don't French women get fat, even though they consume cheese, baguettes, wine, pastries, and pâté? As Mireille Gugliano proposed in her best-selling book, it's because they know when to stop eating. Our own research suggests that they pay more attention to internal clues, such as whether they feel full, and less attention to the external cues, like the level of soup in the bowl that can lead us to overeat. To see if this was true, we had 282 Parisians and Chicagoans fill our questionnaires, asking them how they decided it was time to stop eating a meal. Parisians reported that they usually stopped eating when they no longer felt hungry. Not our Chicagoans. They stopped when they ran out of a beverage, or when their plate was empty, or when the television show they were watching was over. Yet the heavier person was, American or French, the more they relied on external cues to tell them when to stop eating, and the less they relied on whether they felt full. So yes, there's a reason why I wanted to review this book today. It's called it's a book that a lot of people find challenging to read. I remember quite a number of people in our book club were like, well, I don't really like the book. But I thought I'd discuss it today because I know that quite a number of us, myself inclusive, regardless of what people might think, have, obviously because of the fact that we've been home over the lockdown, I've probably put on a bit of weight. And one thing I'm personally doing, and one of my goals for the month of August, is to begin to track how much I am eating. So even though I exercise 5 days a week, I'm not moving as much as I normally would. You know, I'm not moving as much as when I go to work, when I go to pick up the kids and all of that. I'm just not moving as much, even though I exercise and I walk, I try to go for walks and all of that. So one of the things, and I've tried, I've tried to just try not to, I have put on some weight. It's not as bad as normally people would think, but I know myself that if I don't watch it, before we know what's happening, it's beginning to go down to that thread. And as I said, I always talk about the law of compounding effects. If I don't get a grip on it now, it will get to the point where I'm not really happy with where it is. So personally, what I'm going to do in the month of August is to go back to tracking my meals. It's something I did when a couple of years ago when I started my weight loss journey. I kind of I used my Fitness Pal, but I know it's not everyone, and this is not a prescription for everybody. This is just what I'm going to do personally. But apart from me doing that, what I would want people to take away, as I read, is let's pay a bit more attention to what we eat. A lot of times, I would say, I haven't eaten today, but I'd eaten like 3 or 4 crackers while I was waiting for what was in the oven, or as I was putting the chicken in the oven, I ate one. All of those things that we eat that we forget are calories, and they all add up. They all add up to the fact that I was trying to wear my jeans on Wednesday and they weren't fitting the way that they normally should fit. I was still able to wear them, but So that's my book review for the week, and my excerpt from this week is watch what you're eating. Pay a bit more attention. I know it's not a do or die affair. I know it's not down everyone's street and everything, but it's just don't rely on your stomach to tell you when you're full. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And yeah, if it's something that you want to research about more, this book is a very, very, I think that's one of the reasons why I love people, but I like research. There's a lot of research-based evidence on why we eat more than we think that we do. So it's a really good book, and I would really recommend it for anyone who's interested in that subject matter area. So I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you all so much for all of your kind comments about the videos. Let me know if there is something that you're going to be trying, or if you're going to be tracking what you're eating from today on. Thank you very much, and have a lovely, lovely week. Thank you.